All right. Hey guys. I am so excited for tonight's team call because last month, one of my new coaches, Anya, who is going to be presenting to us tonight, rocked it. She killed it. There she is. She that was probably her second month really coaching fully. But she was able to help 8 people last month, guys. 8 people as a new coach. So I was like, how can we pick your brain? Because as new coaches, a lot of times, like, we're paralyzed and there's so much going on and we have all these fears running through our head. So Anya has so much value to add to tonight's call. I love that she agreed to get out of her comfort zone to come on. Aside from being a Success Club rock star last month, I just want to share a little bit of backstory about us. Anya was actually a client of a former coach of mine. And when her coach ended up leaving coaching, Anya became my coach client, right? So we connected. She is rocking it in her fitness and nutrition journey. I think you said you're down, 35 pounds now? Like, so amazing. I am so proud of her. And that commitment to her program, I think, is a big part of what's inspiring people to really just flock to her. But she's killing it with the fitness and nutrition side of things. She lives in Illinois. We connect regularly. She's a hard worker. She works in PR, and she's juggling a lot. So I can't wait to kind of just pass it over to you, Anya. We're going to do like a Q&A style tonight. And at the end, we'll open it up. And if you guys have questions, like, write them down now so that you can ask Anya at the end of this call. So I'm going to just stop talking and just, ask Anya to unmute and share her story and, how she got started and what inspired you really to start coaching.
Yes. Well, thank you for the wonderful intro, Jenna. Very sweet. But like Jenna said, I came from under another coach. I had started with her maybe like a year and a half ago, kind of dabbled in like 21-day fix and just really wasn't in the headspace for the program yet, and ended up falling off. When my coach stopped coaching, Jenna reached out to me. Now that I think about it, I think it was like a challenge group where we tried different workouts from the different Beachbody programs, like very much like a low commitment, like free group. And I took the bait happily. And we started working together, I think late summer last year. And since then I've been able to lose, like Jenna said, 35 pounds, and really get underway with my fitness journey, which has been life-changing, as I know a lot of you on the call already know, and I don't need to go into too much detail about that. But really feeling amazing, looking much better than I used to. Just really happy with my results overall. And then probably like around like November last year, Jenna came to me with the coaching opportunity. This is something I was like hard pass on. Had a lot of my own perceptions of multi-level marketing companies, was nervous about really sharing anything about my personal journey on social media. But the more I thought about it and the more we talked about it, I realized that what I had learned about myself and what I had learned about these programs, I really felt like I couldn't keep to myself. Like, I'd reached this whole new level of self-love and really felt like this is the missing piece, and I almost felt like selfish not sharing that. So I really did sign up kind of from, not to sound like a martyr, but like really from that like goodness of my own, like wanting to share these great tools with other people. And then I started to realize the financial opportunity as well. And that's kind of where I'm at. Like Jenna said, last month was my first month like actively coaching, signing people up. This is my second month, so super new. But that's a little bit of my backstory.
I love it. I love it. And so you have an incredible fitness transformation, which is clear. Do you think that like that did help you get out of your comfort zone quicker in terms of like sharing the opportunity?
Yeah, I think that definitely helped. I know I had some hesitancies, like when you and I first started talking about the opportunity, you know, I'm not quite where I want to be. And I'm not, you know, the perfect picture of health and fitness. So I was a little bit nervous from that aspect. But I definitely had newfound confidence in myself, not just in the way I looked and the way I was feeling physically. But like I said, it was really a new level of self-love that I had come upon and developed. And I really feel like that gave me the inner strength to not be afraid to share.
I love that. That's so key in terms of thinking about like all of our new coaches on here and thinking about the mindset that they may be in too. So, so February you helped 8 people, which is like incredible. That's such a fast start as a coach, like seriously blows my mind. I can't think back to a time where that has ever happened in my team. So that's amazing. So as you were, you know, going through February, how did you connect with those 8 people? Like what was your approach in terms of helping those people and connecting?
Definitely. So one thing that I think I put a lot of effort behind was not getting too bogged down in reading up on what I was supposed to do, going through all of the trainings, although they are very helpful and lovely and important. But I know myself, and I know a lot of women that are drawn to this opportunity are the same way, and that we're very type A. We're big planners. We want to do everything well, which is important, like I said. But at the end of the day, you need to be taking action and performing business building activities instead of just hemming and hawing and making sure you're doing everything kind of by the book and right. And so I really gave myself permission to fail forward and to just start doing it, just start sharing, and then kind of refining the process throughout. So I really just turned that mental switch on for myself, gave myself a pep talk, and said, okay, you're just going to start sharing today. You don't need to finish this training. You just need to start going. And it was scary. Like my first post where I really shared that I'm a Beachbody coach now. This is my story. This is why. I literally put my phone on airplane mode and then like put it in another room and went and like did my workout. And I was like, I can't even like look at it. But as I'm sure a lot of you all have experienced, I came back to like a million private messages, DMs, etc., that were just like, holy shit, like good for you. Like, thank you for sharing this. I had no idea this is what you've been going through, but like, this is amazing. Like the support was just instant, which kind of gave me the courage to keep going from there.
I love that. And everyone is so scared to make that first post, but something that helps is like having that team and having like everyone on the team supporting you, right? So if you can get over that fear, that first real fear, and just do it anyways and like run away. Like I remember when I did it, I was like, oh my God, my armpits were sweating. I was sweating all over.
For sure.
I was just like, I am not going online the rest of the night.
Airplane mode for sure.
I love that. And so we all relate on that level. And when we're mentoring new coaches, guys, like think about how scared they probably are and make sure that you're going to love on their posts, because that's so key in helping them build up that confidence like Anya has sort of grown to have in terms of sharing and posting since putting herself out there. So do you think that most of those people came from online and what you were sharing consistently online? Was it work? Was it family?
It was definitely a mix. And so my first handful of initial clients range from acquaintances to people that are some of my very closest friends. It surprised me, honestly, where people came from to kind of seek me out after I started sharing. And like Jenna said, it was definitely a mix. A lot of coworkers, I think, those are the people that see you every day and are like, okay, they're like, I think it kind of gave people permission to talk to me about it because everyone is very polite, which is lovely. But they're like, oh, yeah, like, okay, I have noticed you've dropped a bunch of weight. You've been looking like really happy and healthy. Really great to hear what you've been doing. So coworkers made up a significant chunk of that group. I think I'm also a dance performer. And so I had some of my fellow dancers reach out to me, which was almost surprising to me in a good way. It was kind of a group that I was nervous to talk to about this because I'm very aware of that community really values body positivity, and I never wanted my post or my journey to come off as anything but that. And sometimes weight loss can kind of like walk a tricky line in people's minds. Um, yeah, and then a couple of just my really good friends, like from college, that have lived in different areas, reached out to me. But the people that were available to me locally in Chicago here, so my coworkers and some of my dance friends, I made an effort to meet up with them in public, I was going to say, in person, and have those conversations face to face, which I think really helped seal the deal in a lot of cases.
Absolutely, because then they can like see and feel your passion. And again, it's like you in front of them, like you're not photoshopping anything, like you're really achieving great success. So I love, because so many of us can hide behind the keyboard, right? I'm so guilty of it. But if you can put yourself out there and do like a Zoom with a new potential prospect or meet up face to face, like that's huge, because they feel that passion, and like they really can't say no after that. Like if they say no, what's wrong, right?
And I think too, like a lot of times we talk about voice message on Facebook, which is something I'm like starting to get into, but I am hosting a Zoom call tomorrow actually for all of my new clients, some of which are prospective, and exactly like you just said, Jenna, to try and get that physical excitement there for them. So even people that aren't local, making that energy connection.
I love that. And like the thing I keep coming back to, you know, your success is like the fact that you're so willing to and like face your fears head on and like just do it anyways, right? Like Zoom, that's scary for a new coach. That's out of your comfort zone, right? Like what if someone asks a question you don't know? Like there's all these thoughts going through your head, but you're willing to like fail forward and take action like you were talking about before. And if we can just like get our new coaches to stop being like masters of taking information in and instead start like giving them little nuggets and then having them apply right away, that's like, I think, a really key to what you're doing that's separating you apart from a lot of other new coaches who are so paralyzed and like fearful of facing those fears.
And it's hard. I mean, this is candidly pretty uncomfortable for me. Like I'm happy now. Like obviously like Jen and I know each other well, but we just did a sneak peek coaching call and I like started talking and immediately I felt like my face getting red. Like this public speaking is out of my comfort zone. Sharing about my personal life on social media has never been something that I've done. And a big part of my journey was also related to mental health. And I told myself early on, if you're going to share, you're going to share everything. And so I've made it a point to carry that story through in my sharing too, which is like a whole new level of personal. But like I said, really what helped me is to just make that mental switch from day one. Like you're going to do things that scare you. Otherwise, you're not going to get where you want to be in this business, and you're going to do it all starting today. And I'm not saying that's like the solution for everybody because it's a little extreme. My personality is very 0 or 100. I know not everyone is like that, but for me, that helped just put me in a new headspace of like, this is something new that you're doing. You have to approach it like something you've never done before. Like, go.
Oh my gosh, like music to my ears. I love it. Like I'm over here just smiling ear to ear because you can get that mentality early on, like you're going to see success. And that's how you're able to help 8 people in addition to a lot of hard work too. But can you like paint the picture a little bit about what you're doing behind the scenes to like manage your conversations or like how you're delegating your time, because you are so busy, you're in PR, you dance, like you have a lot going on. You have a boyfriend, so you have to split your time. So how are you like fitting this all in?
Yeah. So it's definitely still a work in progress. Like you mentioned, I work for a PR agency, so I'm in client service, kind of a notoriously grueling industry. My hours are not 9 to 5. I work weekends regularly. So it's been a challenge. However, I have been reading a lot about time management and kind of our time that we're able to focus on one activity. And Jenna had shared another coaching video. I forget the woman's name now, but she was big into creating time blocks for yourself and designating those to, again, business building activities. So like, yeah, you could spend those 45 minutes organizing your email or whatnot, or you could spend them actively inviting, following up with people that are actively having conversations with you, things that will actually end up building your business instead of just like organizing it or making it look pretty and neat. So I've been trying to do better by adhering to that, kind of blocking out your time, focusing more on business building as opposed to, again, like catching up on training and stuff like that. Stuff's all important, but kind of, in my opinion, needs to take a little bit of a backseat. So I do that during the week, and then I have dedicated like a 2-ish hours on Saturday mornings that I'm just like, okay, this is the time to like really crank out some stuff.
I love that. Because you do have to kind of, it's easy to get distracted, right, by social media graphics and all this training, like that, like extra training that you don't necessarily need, right, unless it's helping you improve on like one specific area. But focusing on those business building activities is key. And the fact that like you are consciously thinking about the time that you're going to spend on this business. And I'm sure, you know, it's not perfect yet. Like I'm sure you're working through setting boundaries and setting business hours, but you can do this business if you're extremely busy. You just have to carve out the time like you would any other appointment, right? Yeah. In your life, any other meeting. You wouldn't slack on a meeting with a client, right? So don't slack on your meeting with yourself for this business. 2 hours on the weekend and then doing those business blocks during the week, that can get you so far. And clearly it has with you.
Yeah. And actually that habit has helped me kind of prioritize my work too. So now if I'm at the office, I'm doing an assignment for a client or whatever, I try and hit those 45-minute intervals, and it's actually made me a lot more productive overall.
Yeah, that's awesome. It can apply to different areas of your life, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, which is how you find the extra time.
Exactly. When you are, you know, picking where you're going to share, are you mostly sharing on Facebook, Instagram? Is it a mix of both? Are you on Instagram stories? What's your jam?
So right now I'm focusing mostly on Instagram, which I know is kind of everyone's area of focus right now. I am sharing almost everything I share to Instagram. I also share to Facebook. I'm still refining a little bit how to work with Facebook because I feel like I'm just getting much less engagement there, which is kind of typical of what I've heard from other coaches lately. But on Instagram, yes, doing just like the static regular posts as well as like little boomerangs here and there. And then I am leveraging Instagram stories, which I know again is like the trendy place to go, but really has brought me a lot of interest, especially with the poll feature. I feel like really works well. So yeah, I've been focusing most of my attention on Instagram. I think the benefits to Instagram, aside from everything that you can do with the story, really is its visual nature, which sounds kind of like, okay, duh. But so part of my job in PR is actually finding and contracting Instagram influencers and influencers on other social media. So I think I have a little bit of a leg up in that I'm able to determine what people are looking for in terms of social content. And I'm definitely not a pro on this. Paulina, yeah. Yeah, actually, that would be a good topic down the line. I'm definitely not a pro here. Like if you guys go look at my Instagram now, you're probably not going to be like blown away. But at the end of the day, what people want to see is you. And I know that sounds kind of like, okay, but like they want to see you. They want to see full body shots. They want to see good lighting. they want to see you kind of like, I don't ever pretend to be perfect. I know we all try to come across as very real, or we do come across as real. Like it's a big part of our job, but I think it's also important to look polished and have your content be polished. I find that if I post a picture, even if it's post workout, if I have on like a kind of a cute little outfit or my hair looks okay, like people will engage with those photos a lot more, and comment on, oh, I like your leggings, or your hair looks great today, things like that. And like, it's a little bit of those superficial things do go a long way, because it's a conversation starter as opposed to expecting someone to say, oh, hey, great, like let's sign me up. It gives you kind of a soft in. And I think too helps you build a visual brand, which all goes back to consistency. You want to be consistent in how you appear to your followers in terms of what you're doing, but also in terms of your overall like look and feel. So that's something that I've been focusing on for social media too. I did invest in like a little ring light too. It's like $20 on Amazon. Holds my phone, has a little ring light, and then my pictures have like a little bit more polish to them, which has helped, I think.
Yeah, so many great tips, like all spot on. And that's so cool. I don't even think I really realized that about you, that you do the Instagram influencer thing with your job. Like, yes, we definitely want to hear more about that on a future call for sure. Because IG is where it's at. Like that's so huge. And I love that you're starting to understand as a new coach the importance of just building a brand that represents you right from the beginning, and not just like vomiting beach body all over people, because they want to connect with you on those cute leggings or those shoes, like something that they have in common with you outside of fitness and nutrition, because you may be at a place in your fitness and nutrition where like people can't relate to that because they're not there yet. So having those like combo starters and icebreakers in a sense out there is helpful in getting to know people and building trust with people too.
Totally. Yeah, I think a little polish goes a long way in that department. I've even had people DM me asking who takes your photos, which is funny because, you know, like a lot of us have like an Instagram husband behind the scenes that helps us take pictures sometimes, but mine's not about that life. So it's, it's literally like a $20 like phone holder from Amazon. Takes all my pictures.
I love it. How often would you say post on your social media pages?
So this is something that I want to get better about. When I was really in a groove, it was every day. One traditional post, and then I would try to do something with my story every day too. I've been a little crazy the last couple of weeks, and so I haven't been posting to Instagram as much, but I try to keep up with my story at least so people are seeing my name, and seeing, again, those consistent behaviors. But yeah, that's a goal for mine, is to get a little bit more consistent on that front.
Well, we all have to start somewhere, right? Like you said, you weren't overly posting on social media before. So being consistent with even, 1 or 2 times a day, like that consistency goes a long way, because when you're doing all those business building activities, like inviting, people are creeping on your page and they want to see what you've been doing. And you're focused on that brand image that you want to portray, and sharing quality, authentic content that speaks to the people that you're really trying to connect with. Like that's huge. So is there anything on Instagram specifically that we're missing, or like the branding aspect?
Yeah. I think that, so I touched on this a little bit before, but, and I know this is part of like the standard coach training, but I think having kind of pillars or topics that you center your content on from the get-go really helps. I think it's easy to post a lot, especially at the beginning. And like, I completely did this too. So this is not like me being judgy to anyone's content, but like, oh, like shit, I have to post about all these things. Like, here's my meal prep, like here's me working out, like, and it kind of doesn't have like a common thread to it aside from, yeah, it all relates back to your program, but ultimately we need to go a level deeper. So like I said, I decided early on when I was going to share, I wanted share my story with my followers. I wanted to make sure that the mental health message really came through. So that's something that I try like once a week to do a post, either like a little update on how I'm feeling, if it's relevant somehow, or like sharing like, oh, it's self-care Sunday. Like, what do you guys do to take care of like your well-being aside from the physical aspect? Or I'm very candid about, like I've had a hard week. I'm going to see my therapist. Like who else, like is feeling this way. So that's one theme that I feel like has kind of helped anchor my content from the beginning. And I have other ones too, like, again, going back to body positivity and not just focusing on changing the way you look, but really changing how you feel and how well your body is operating is something that I like to talk about too. And I'm working on the other ones. I'm in kind of a weird position where I'm not able to really talk publicly about my dancing given my 9-to-5 job. So some of the things that make me more unique in my personal life are I'm still a little hesitant to share them on social media. So I'm still figuring that out. But I think having a few common threads has helped my social content reach more people.
Totally. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And I remember too, like I wanted to leave my job and I was friends with people from work on my Facebook page. So I couldn't come out there and say, I'm coaching because I'm going to leave my job one day. Like,
right. Like, bye.
Yeah, there's ways you have to really dance around that sometimes, but it can be done. Yep. So I'm just looking at my questions here for you. To kind of transition away from social media, as new coaches, sometimes it's hard if you get like any criticism or judgment, and that like makes them go back into their shell and is like, oh my God, what am I doing? Like maybe this isn't right for me. Maybe all these people and what they're saying are right. Like, have you faced anything like that? And if so, how have you overcome that? Mm-hmm. And why is overcoming it important? Like,
yeah. So this was one of the areas I was really nervous about when I started coaching, because it's like we always say, you don't want to come across as salesy. And especially when you've been someone like I was, like more quiet on social media, I was really nervous from going from like essentially dark to like every day, like, look at this. So I definitely was a little bit nervous about that from the start. But I also knew, as with anything, like people are going to talk and not all of it is going to be positive. And that kind of goes without saying for anything that you do in your life, no matter how positive the change you're making is. So yeah, I actually had a couple of coworkers who I found out from, it's kind of one of those things where like people tell you a story and you can tell, like you can kind of put the pieces together in your mind that these people like weren't talking kindly about you, and you kind of are getting like the watered down version at the end. And I had a coworker come to me and say, oh, so-and-so and so-and-so were asking about this program and yada, yada. Long story short, basically they thought that I was losing weight in an unhealthy way, and there was no way that this program was sustainable, and kind of like, who is she to be like talking about this on social media? Like it's clearly just like a quick fix or whatever. And I got really mad, honestly. At first I was pretty pissed, because in my opinion, like if you are interested in what I'm doing or you have questions, like just come and ask me. But I had to kind of take a seat and like think about it a little bit. And I was like, yeah, this is exactly what I anticipated. Any big change that you make for yourself, people that are set in their ways, people that have their own self-limiting beliefs are going to react out of some kind of criticism and judgment. And that's honestly kind of a good thing, because I believe when you're making big positive shifts in your life, the universe, the powers that be, put obstacles in your way. They put those negative people in your way to kind of like challenge you, like, okay, like how bad do you want this? So I kind of chalked it up to that. I said, okay, if people are noticing I'm doing something right, and I just kind of let it fuel my fire a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, it's hard. Like like I said, I got emotional. I was really pissed off, but I decided to think of it more so as like another obstacle coming my way that I knew eventually was going to come. Not everyone's going to be happy for me, and that's their prerogative, you know?
Yeah, that it's when something like that happened to me as a new coach, I was definitely like, it paralyzed me completely. So it's just great to see a new coach that has grown so much already through this opportunity. And, you know, if we can be really teaching our coaches the power of mindset and helping them build up that positivity and mindset, glass half full mentality. I had to think about that, so I didn't say it wrong. Then they're going to be set up better for success. And it's not to say like any hater comments, like it will sting, but the fact that you can take that and let it fuel your fire and help you keep moving forward, that's only going to help you get stronger and it help you help more people. Mm-hmm. So any new coaches, if you're listening, if you are afraid of judgment, if you haven't, you know, come in contact with it yet, or if you have, like, have this mindset, because there will be people who do have something to say about what you're doing. And, you know, like, chances are they're just not in the right place and they're struggling with something too. So I always try to keep that in the back of my mind, but I was the shake girl at work, so I got you, girl.
I know. And I think about too, like, for that, like, one or two people that were like sitting in a room and talking shit about me at work, like, woohoo, like, good for you guys. There's like so many people that have reached out with like genuine love and kindness. Mm-hmm. Like, people I would have never expected. Like, my favorite story that I tell everyone is I had like a really close friend all through college. Like, we were inseparable. Towards the end of college, we had this like horrible falling out, and we never spoke again. And we're still friends on Facebook and whatever. And she reached out to me and was just like, thank you for sharing like about your really tough year. Cause I had a tough year before I signed up from Beachbody. And she's like, this year actually blew for me too. Like, X, Y, and Z happened. But like, it's amazing to see like what you've done with it. Like, it's really inspirational. And we like hashed out what had happened, like however many years, like 6-7 years before, and like buried that hatchet. And she was actually interested in signing up for a while. She hasn't yet. But like that kind of genuine like love, like, makes the other things, it's like a joke, you know? Like, it's not important at all.
Absolutely. But the good you do and the doors that open because of this are so much worth. They're worth more than any negative thing that anyone has to say about you. So I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And my last question for you, and then I'm going to give it back to you if there's anything else you want to share. And then if anyone else on this call has questions, like, type them in the chat or we'll unmute you guys. So just start thinking of your questions. But my last question is, where do you see yourself going in this business? Like, you have the belief, you have experienced success, you're killing it with your fitness and nutrition. Where do you want this coaching opportunity to take you? Where do you know it's taking you? Let's hear about that.
Yeah. So I'm like on this kind of like permanent high because I feel like this program has given me this realization, like I said, like this whole new level of self-love. And I'm like capable of whatever I want. And so I've been like, kind of like, it's like this newfound like, like power that I'm just like, I'm thinking about it and I'm like starting to apply it in small ways to other parts of my life. So I'm still like shaping the vision for myself. I definitely right now do have a passion for my job, not all day, every day. But it's definitely not something that I intend to leave anytime soon. But I can't, sorry, I'm like all over the place. I want to keep my full-time job, but I've realized now that there's this other opportunity that can really help supplement where I'm going with that full-time job. And I might get emotional, but so I've been coming from behind financially for several years now. I did the quintessential graduated college, spent all my money traveling Europe. I worked on a farm in Greece for like several months and just like traveled and was like super like hippie, whatever. Came back, had no money, no plan. And I decided to move back to Chicago. I had been living on the East Coast. I crashed on my best friend's futon, and I literally think I had $400 to my name a few years ago when I moved back here. And I just like busted my ass to get where I was professionally. But I mean, that's hard to come back from, you know, when you have nothing to your name. And so I feel like this has given me that kind of extra edge to come from where I'm not coming from behind and really secure my future in a way that I can't just do with my salary right now. So the plan is I still live with my best friend. We have a 2-bedroom apartment. I'm no longer on the futon. Don't worry. But my plan is to get my own place in September, and really to start creating like my own life here, because now it's been about the two of us up until this point, and I'm so ready to have my own space and really continue to keep like exploring this new like power that I've realized, and like see more how I want to shape my future after that next step. And I want to travel more too.
Oh my gosh. Like, I'm
that weird? Did I just ramble a lot?
No, you just provided so much value, so much belief. Like, look, I'm getting a little teary.
Yeah, I was like, I might get emotional. I kept it together though.
Oh my gosh. Well, I don't know if I will. But I'm just so proud of you. Like this, any coach of any level can take something from what you shared tonight and apply it to their business, whether it's getting away from the busy stuff and focusing on the productive stuff, or whether it's just getting over that fear that you're feeling, or that self-limiting obstacle that's preventing you from like dreaming about the future that you want and really going after it and believing in yourself. Like the belief that you share, the confidence that you share, the mindset that you have right now is unshakable. And that is a key to why you are seeing so much success so fast. So does anyone else have questions? Anya, is there anything we didn't cover that you wanted to share?
The only other thing, I'm looking at my notes. The only other thing is that I feel like the other thing that's really helped me is being coachable as a coach. So, you know, like I always ask for your feedback because I really value it, and you clearly kick ass and know what you're doing. So I want to gain as much knowledge from you as I can. And I think our teams do a fabulous job of sharing learnings and like giving access to like these like exclusive groups and things like that you really need to soak in. But I think asking for feedback from your coach is big. Like I always really value what you have to say about my performance or my post, but also like you give me that little extra edge to get more out of my comfort zone. Like I a long time refused to post a transformation photo because I was not down with my original photo. And Jenna was like, okay, maybe you should just try it this week. And I did, and I lived, and the world continued on. Things like that. I would openly ask for feedback from your coach, from your team, and really be coachable and not take that to heart if there is constructive criticism. Because at the end of the day, like people only give feedback to people that they care about and want to see grow and develop. And so it's important. And that's the other thing I wrote down.
Oh, you're so sweet. I love it. That is really key. Your coaches have been through trial and error like a little bit longer. So might as well learn from them. Yeah, and not make those mistakes, right? Like why repeat history when you don't have to or don't want to repeat some stuff. So wow, I thought this was a great call. Does anyone have questions, comments? I want to also say, like, because of your success in February, you are essentially two emeralds from diamond, which is like, whoa, like, holy moly, girl. So guys, like, if you don't have a question on the call tonight, if you have a question after, like, don't hesitate to ask Anya. I'm sure she'd be willing to like answer any questions because she's doing something right. So, anyone have questions, comments?
Girl, you slayed this goal. Oh my gosh. You see the whole time I'm like, yes, like in the chat. Seriously, like
I'm just seeing your chats now.
I'm like blown away by just your enthusiasm, your excitement for this. just like your whole belief system, like you said, it's all mindset, and you've worked really hard on improving your mindset, on keeping it strong, and you don't shy away from like that image or that ideal of like being perfect, because nobody's perfect. So that's why I think people probably are attracted to you. People can relate to you, and because you're willing to be vulnerable and share like, this is me, this is what I've been through, this is what I'm going through, this is where I'm going. They're inspired by that, and that's why you've seen so much of a great response to doing this and encouraging other people to join you. So great job. I would love to hear all about your travels and living on a farm in Greece. So even
random.
It is, but you know what? The cool thing about that whole like story and that chapter of your life is that even though you might have blown all your money, which is fine because you can always make more money, right? Like I know for us, like, and I'm doing a lot of like money mastery mindset work and whatever. So like now, like I see this, of course, like it's scary. I'm sure your parents were freaking the fuck out that you decided to just like travel in Europe and spend all your money and come back and be like living on your friend's couch. But all the experiences you've gained through that and like just like life stuff you learned, I'm sure outweighed any like paycheck you would have got if you stayed here and had like a 9 to 5 and just like had extra, 20 G's in your bank account or whatever, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And if you were meant to spend that money, you would have spent it either way. If you had a regular job or if you were traveling the world, doesn't matter. But
right.
The fact that you took that leap of faith, that you made that decision to do it because you wanted to and you had that desire, and you knew that even though you didn't have like an actual like set plan, things would work themselves out, right? And I think that's the approach that you've taken with this business too. Like you're not waiting to go through all the trainings or do all the groups or for Jenna to tell you like, hey, do this or that. Like you're just doing it yourself. You're taking action. You're figuring it out as you go. You even said fail forward, which is like such a personal development thing. And I'm like, fail forward, yes.
I know, I got that good PD.
Yeah.
Go down.
Exactly, yes. All the PD. But it just show you like, yeah, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to know all the answers. Like you're just excited and you know what this has done for you and the positivity it's brought into your life and the community it's brought into your life, that you're just excited to share that. People are excited to want to be part of it. So let's stop overcomplicating it, guys. Seriously.
No, it's true. And I like what you said about money too, because that was actually the other thing I wanted to touch on is I had to do a lot, and I'm sure you guys have read You Are a Badass. I want to read her money one. But one thing that really stuck out to me about that book was when she talked about money and kind of we're all raised with certain preconceptions of money. And I had come, not to get like way too personal, I had a family that was well off and then wasn't. And so I had like this built-in fear of money. And I also came from my other side of the family that was very much like rich people, like poo-poo, they don't know what a real struggle is. So I had all these kind of like weird conflicting ideas about money in my head. And I'm kind of coming to terms with them through coaching too, and realizing that like money is a positive thing. It's energy, just like anything else. And there's no shame in wanting it for yourself. And I think that has opened me up a lot to my success to date too. So yeah, I'd recommend anyone that feels weird about the money aspect to think about that and read up on that too, because it's big.
For sure, girl. And how awesome is it? Even though your plan is to stay at your job, you enjoy what you do, the work that you put in there, you're creating this side income that is going to help you move out, or is going to help you have some extra savings for whatever it is that you want to do. If you want to take a vacation or whatever, like that's like so awesome. And you're paying it forward and helping other people by all those coaches you already, inspired to sign up with you. Like you're giving them the opportunity too to change their life in a very meaningful way, no matter what it is that they're, desiring or they want to make of this, right? So waiting.
Totally.
And if you were wondering for some things, I guess like content or whatever, I love like just from the challenge tracker app, like all your posts and stuff, like you have like really cute clothes and like outfits, and your nails are always done really nice. So if you need ideas, talk about your nails or talk about your clothes, girl, because I like what you're wearing, like how you present yourself. So.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I have a problem with my nails. I'm obsessed with them, in case no one's noticed yet. But apparently you guys have.
Because there's other people out there who love getting their nails done too and like doing different designs or trying different, you know,
Yeah.
vapes, or I don't even know what they're called, but you know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many people out there that you can connect with because of your nails. So
I actually thought about making it a hashtag, and now I think I definitely will.
yeah, or search up different hashtags. I'm sure there's tons of like nail art or whatever types of things. And you can connect with other women who enjoy getting their nails done. And I'm sure, you know, getting your nails done can be a little pricey, especially if you do like fancier designs or whatever. But you don't have to worry about it because you have a coaching business and you make that money, so you can.
There you go. I like it.
Awesome. All right. Anyone have any like last minute questions or comments? But this was a very, very amazing call. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Any last words?
No, thank you, guys.
I just want to say thank you, Anya. Like, you really just stepped out of your comfort zone again to do this call for the team. And I hope that everyone on here took something away that they can apply immediately to their business. Like no more thinking, no more just being like knowledge collectors. Like, go out there and apply something that is going to move your business forward. Like, that's your takeaway from this call. Go take action on a business building activity. And if you haven't been consistent with that, start tracking. And when you have a tracker that's right in front of you every day that shows you like, oh, you know, I didn't invite anyone yesterday, then that means you have to up your game tomorrow. So just be aware of what you're doing. And if you want success out of this business, then it comes down to taking action on the vital and those business building activities. So that's kind of what I would leave you guys with.
Yeah. Well, thank you, guys.
Boom. Yes. Thank you guys so much. This was such a fun call.
Have a great night, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you.